Hello, Bernard Keevy here. So today's session is all about time and setting goals and making sure that you know what you want and have absolute clarity and you allow time to do it. So the starting point is vision. So you need to know with absolute clarity what you want to achieve. So if it was your business and you were looking to grow your business or double your profits, then you would need to know with absolute clarity that that's what you were after achieving. Once you know that, you can then set your goals, and goals have to be written. Less than 3% of adults have written goals apparently. They need to be smart, they need to be specific. So the more specific you can make them, the better. They need to be measurable, which is very similar to specific because you can tell if you've achieved them or not. They need to be, A stands for achievable. Well, that's debatable. You need some that are challenging and that you can't actually see now how you'll achieve it, but you'll work out how once you've actually set the goal and started working towards it. They need to be relevant to you, and they need to be time-based. So without a deadline, basically there's no sense of urgency and nothing happens. But they also need to be the 3 Ps. So they need to be present tense, as in I earn or my business generates. They need to be positive. So I weigh 11 stone is positive, whereas I'm going to lose 2 stone is negative. So it needs to be positive, and it needs to be, so present tense, positive and personal. It needs to be I or me or my business. So it needs to be I, not something that's outside of us. So it needs to be personal. So the 3 Ps: personal, positive and present tense. Now, it needs to be, or at least your goals in terms of growing your profits need to be focused on activities. And a 90-day horizon is a really good time horizon to have, because it's long enough to achieve results, which I'll show you in future sessions, but short enough to keep you focused. So a 90 days plan or set of goals based on activities is really motivating. And the thing about 90 days that's really interesting is if you do something for 90 days, you develop a habit. It's long enough to develop a habit. So 90 days means your behaviour becomes habitual and you're focusing on activities, so it is behaviour. And there's a rule of 5 which I saw recently from Bob Canfield. Can't remember his name anyway, but the rule of 5 is that if you focus every day on 5 things that will help you achieve your goals, then that's a really good rule to follow, and that becomes habitual as well. Now the thing is, none of this will happen if you don't allow time to actually do these activities. So what you need is you need to put time in your diary here to actually focus on these activities. Now the question then is, do you allow 30 minutes a day, 60 minutes a day, 90 minutes a day? It's up to you. Obviously, there's a lot of argument that says it should be 60 to 90 minutes. Some people call this a golden hour. I've seen other books where people have said double your profits on 90 minutes a day. So you need to find the time to do this, which that's the first trap, because a lot of business owners never find that time. And this is why, because this is the matrix that comes from Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and he splits things into urgent and not urgent. So urgent means they've got a deadline, but then important and not important. And what tends to happen is people work through all the things that they have to get done, the deadline stuff, and they focus on the most important first and work their way down, which is fine, but they never get around to doing all these important things here which haven't got a deadline. And guess what? Everything there falls into this category here, important but without a deadline. So the rule is that if it's important and it's got a deadline, you do it, so it's on your to-do list. If it's not important, even if it has got a deadline, you don't put it on your to-do list, or if you do, you make someone else do it, you delegate it or outsource it. And if it's not urgent, it hasn't got a deadline and it's not important here, then you don't do it at all, you dump it. But this one here, if it's important but it hasn't got a deadline, like all these things are, like developing your skills and improving yourself and reading and studying, all those things, unless you diarise it here beforehand and put it in the diary and leave it sacrosanct and then actually do it, it never happens. So you have to put it in the diary and then you have to do it. So that's basically how you work out where you want to go with your life and with your business, and then how you make sure that you actually do the things required by making sure they're in the diary for 30, 60 or 90 minutes a day, or whatever you can spare. The longer the better, basically. And this is all about working on yourself and working on your business rather than working in your business. So I hope you found that interesting and useful, and you can see how you can apply that to yourself and your business straight away.